Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to Extreme Bronco Live right here on Wednesday night. And unlike last Wednesday night, we're here, Gavin. What is up? Are you glad to be back home?
Yes.
Are you glad to be back home?
Yes.
So last Wednesday, we had a blast. We were in Detroit for the global debut. Well, we were there for two reasons, right? The global debut of the Ford Mustang, the 2024 Ford Mustang, and the Detroit Auto Show. So we were able to attend the auto show for our first media event. It was very cool. So there's some things that Gavin couldn't do because of his age, and some things that he could do, but we were on the ground less than 24 hours there. So we had to pack a whole lot of stuff in a very short time. Gavin was a total trooper. And what did you think? What did you think about the Ford event? That's what I want to know.
Cool. Seeing the new Mustang being launched and seeing the big old white Mustang emblem being projected onto the one of the Ford buildings,
or the big white building, or whatever next door. Yeah, and well, that was on, and they actually tweeted that out the night before, so it was actually pretty. Remember that? I showed you that, and I was like, hey, it's pretty cool. So we saw that then we saw it the night of. But look, let's go right in and say hello before we get too far into the content, because I really want to talk about what a cool experience the global launch was, as well as the Detroit Auto Show. It was pretty cool. So I've never been to Detroit, Michigan in general, but especially, well, obviously I haven't been to Michigan, I've been to Detroit, but I've been twice now, or you and I've been twice in like 35 days or so.
Yeah, so less than a month is different.
It was cool this time. We picked up the rental.
It was cool last time too.
What? No, it was cool both times. What I was saying is I had the rental car this time and I almost knew where I was going. It was pretty scary there. So, Tim with Overlanding for Fun. Hey, everyone. What did I win? And I think Dr. Detroit, he told you, a big bag of disappointment. Yeah, that's well, hopefully not tonight. Hopefully, like with everything else, interest rates going up again, by the way. Maybe that's the disappointment. But let's see. John Hines, what is going on? Any word on your Bronco Raptor? Remember John? He's getting a John was cool enough in Townsend to help close the sale with Becky on the Bronco Raptor for us. Like she was there, like she wasn't going to be too mad at me. And then John was like, oh yeah, he closed the deal. So I still appreciate that. Steve P, what's going on? Happy Wednesday to you too. Dr. Detroit said my here, let's pop this up here. It's pretty cool. My Raptor was released today. Yay. That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait. And I think you had said 2-3 weeks ago when we chatted on here that it was being held for some reason or another. So that's actually pretty awesome. Pez Head 123, what is going on? So it's always good. Sorry we didn't get to see this trip there, but we landed in Detroit on let's see, last Wednesday morning at like 10:30ish, and we flew out the next morning at 6 a.m. So Gavin was a total trooper.
We had to be there at 4. I stayed up for
a while.
So I woke up at 3 with like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and then we went to the airport, flew, and I had to go on another flight. And then had to do all the filming and all the loud music and stuff.
You had to do the loud music and stuff? No,
well,
it was fun, man.
It was part of the event. And my ankles were bugging me the whole time. But stayed through, and we went to the airport. We grabbed a little snack, and we got there like 2. And we had to be there at 4. Like, they say you should be there by 4 if you have a flight at 6.
What are you talking about? When we left?
Yeah.
When we left Detroit? Back. Oh, yeah. We were there at 3.
Yeah. The Detroit airport, like 3 or 4.
So,
or, no, 2 or 3. And then.
So here's the moral of the story. Between the time we landed in Detroit, and sorry to cut you off, but between the time we landed in Detroit on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, it was less than 24 hours. We were back in Norfolk.
Yeah.
So it was a very condensed trip. And I want to show you something here a little bit. Uh, TJ Miller, what's up? What's going on? What's the story with your Bronco? I think it was 2 weeks ago we talked about that. You had some news on that, and I can't remember because I have like a little bit going on there. But yeah, that is really cool. I can't wait. Hopefully, Dr. Detroit, you could post it. Well, I don't know. We can't do it here, but maybe Instagram or something like that. But anyway, like to check it out. And I do want to let everyone know I actually got Gavin and I got to meet Dr. Detroit there, and it was cool to have someone that knows Detroit to kind of tell us, where the cool stuff is. Go eat here, park over there, or whatever, something like that. So it was cool. So thank you for all your hospitality. We greatly appreciate you. And let's see. Oh, Pez Head's asking what color there. Dirk Connor, what's going on? Yeah, and hope you like that Mustang video. And thanks for what I know you commented. Thanks for covering it. This is what we do here now, and I'm starting to hopefully find a little bit better. I think groove, if that makes any sense. If we want to talk real estate deals, that's like second nature. But reviewing cars, it's like, okay, I know what I like, but what does the general public like? So Gavin and I are learning, kind of what are some of the things that most people like to talk about and mix in what you like about it. And maybe there's a magic formula there, wouldn't you say?
So we're under the comment.
Yeah, where are we at?
Right here. We just read.
Yeah, we got that. The Gavinator in the house. Uh-oh, look. So he's got a new name. I'm going to get you the shirt. That's it, man, right there. That is your deal, the Gavinator.
All right. A couple people can call me that on the stream. I'm not getting a shirt.
You're getting a shirt. Now, whether you wear it or not.
I refuse to.
I'll get a shirt that says I'm the Gavinator's dad.
You can wear that.
And I'll wear it to your soccer games.
Depending.
And I'll put your jersey number on there. What is your jersey number again? Because Alexa's 20 and you're 11. Okay.
That's actually a pretty cool idea. Only for soccer, though.
Only for soccer? No. You'll forever be known as hashtag the Gavinator. That's what we'll do. That's going to be it, man.
I'm not, whether if you get me one or not, I'm depending on the design. I'm not wearing one in public. So
Dr. Detroit said hello.
Hello.
All right, Tim.
I've been.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. The real question for Gavin is, how was Detroit ice cream? Well, guess what? Did you even have any?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. See, here's the thing. There's not a food truck that this kid right here doesn't want to visit. He just likes. I think Gavin's going to be one of these. What do you call them when you go around and you do these like food reviews and stuff? You just like different stuff from different parts of the country.
Because it's like. I'm used to stuff in Virginia, so if we go somewhere else, I'm like, whoa, I want to try something that's.
And see now, I figured Gavin out now, so he'll get something that's like this big. Now he eats a little bit, but now I know why. Because you don't want to overeat. So what you want to do is you want to try different things, right? So you try it from this food truck and that food truck, and that's actually pretty smart. Even though,
So I sampled some of the ice cream to make sure I liked it before buying an $8 cup.
Yeah. So, and we're going to dive in this a little bit. So we're not just talking ice cream and food trucks and stuff like that, but the In Hart Plaza. So if you've ever been to Detroit, downtown Detroit in particular, and this is my first time being there, in between just like roughly the Renaissance or the Ren Center, and I forget the building where the Detroit Auto Show was in, but let's call it a convention center.
Big, ginormous building.
Ginormous.
That I guess the train ran through that little electric train that runs on the big old concrete tracks, kind of like a monorail. It ran through there. The tracks ran through the actual building, right under the roof. You a couple times I heard
sound effects. You gotta love the sound effects.
Like the brakes, on top. It was so loud.
All right, make sure everybody can hear you.
And then it had the ginormous rubber duck.
Yeah, well, that was a Jeep thing. Yeah. You wouldn't understand. So, so we were there. So if you have an idea, right in between sort of the Ren Center and this convention center with Detroit Auto Show was Hart Plaza. So Hart Plaza is where Ford they launched it was the globe, the stage for the global debut of the 2024 Mustang. And so it was pretty cool to be in that. That was an event, that it wasn't open to everyone. So luckily we were able to get in there. We had a good place. And the one thing that I thought was really cool, do you remember who I told you I was trying to strike up a conversation with? He was right behind us. Started with an S. Steve. What was his name? Last name.
Hold on. I'm thinking.
You know it. You know it. Come on, Gavin. Do it, man.
Saleen.
Saleen. Steve Saleen. So how cool is this to be an event, especially a Mustang event, and you turn around and there is someone that looks familiar, and then you happen to look down at their coat. It was kind of a cool, it was not cold, but it was just slightly chill. So he had a coat on, and written around there in the coat was Saleen. And I looked back up and I was like, yeah, that's where I know him from. That's Steve Saleen. Now, that's the second time we've seen Steve this year. Where was the first time? Carlisle.
Oh,
Ford Nationals, Carlisle. He was on a back of a golf cart, kind of cruising around up there, checking out everything. I thought it was very interesting. Now, I don't, this was right when I started or trying to talk to him a little bit. It was right after the event. So I don't know if he was seated down into the arena or not, but this was right after. So it was actually pretty cool. Second time seeing Steve there. Let's see. Let's do this here. So the answer to the question, Tim with overlanding for fun. He liked the ice cream. John Hines said, no word other than it's going to be a 23. Yeah. So I haven't heard anything, and that's fine with us. Like I said, we're in no hurry. We've got to sell some more houses. But we haven't heard anything. It'd be kind of, nice to know that, hey, it's official. You're going to be a 23. Or did something happen in emails and we get a call from the dealer saying, hey, guess what showed up today? And then, so, another reason for your mom to be happy with me. Let's see. Brujon just converted my, here we go. Just converted my first order to a Raptor customer tonight. Good deal. That is awesome. I like, and I haven't seen too many videos of people out tearing it up. I'm sure they're out there somewhere in a Bronco Raptor, but I have seen delivery pictures and, pictures driving down the road. It's really cool. It's just so different seeing them on the road.
And when we were in the Explorer heading on the interstate going to the event, or going to Ford's Garage, the restaurant, we were driving, and then I was like, Dad, look. And then it was on this right exit going off the highway. There was it was like a red, darker red with metallic in it. I forgot what it's called. It wasn't chili pepper. It was something else.
Well, it had to be chili pepper.
Well, it might have been.
Yes, chili pepper.
And I saw it was a Raptor because I saw the real wide fenders, the fender flares. And he was like, oh, yeah. And it was a Raptor just going off the interstate.
Yeah. So, hey, what's up, Rod? Friend of mine. And actually, Rod was the ghostwriter on my book, Driven. So thanks, Rod. And City Council. Maybe I'll have you on. Well, it's Extreme Bronco. We don't talk politics. But, Rod's getting ready to be real famous, I think. Look at this here.
Yeah.
Overlanding for fun. True. Sleep is overrated when you're Gavin's age.
Very true. Especially if you're into video games and stuff.
That's
very true.
Don't you think I handle that better than you, though?
What?
The lack of sleep. Don't you think I'm a little more, you think you get a little more frazzled?
You
frazzled?
Get a little bit more grumpy if you're...
Do I?
Yeah.
No.
I get grumpy, but you get a little bit more.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's see here. TJ Miller, watching you from the balcony of my hotel, the Boardwalk, Ocean City, Maryland. My ETA is Friday, my Bronco, and I'll be here showing in. Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, thanks for watching us from the balcony there in Maryland. Ocean City's a cool place. Been up there once. It's been a while ago, so I'm sure it's totally changed since we were there. But, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, even when you're not at home. Let's see. But Pennsylvania isn't that far from Michigan, and it's coming convoy. Yeah, I don't. So is okay. So it's all convoy. So in Virginia, at least most of the Mid Atlantic comes by rail to Crewe, Virginia. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then Crewe, Virginia, it gets trucked to whatever dealer, whatever city. So, but yeah, TJ Miller, that's awesome. I definitely look forward to you getting it, and I can't wait to hear all about it. John Hunt, can people actually order a Raptor for 23, or is that a customer that had been a hand raiser? Oh, that's a good question, John Hines. So John asks, Brew John, can people actually order a Raptor for 23, or was this a customer that had been a hand raiser and just updated his order? It's a very good question. Love to know. Yeah, and the shipping thing is pretty cool when you're waiting. We're actually, what's today's date? So we're coming up on 3 days. 3 days we've had our 21 Bronco Badlands 1 year. Isn't that amazing?
Mm.
So right now it was sitting in a rail yard or on the train in Crewe, Virginia this time last year. Because it was just a short delay. They can't unload everything at once. And yeah, it was delivered on the 23rd. We took delivery of it from the dealer on the 24th. So yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I love it when I'm seeing everybody get their Broncos, and they're getting them pushed out a little bit. There was a kind of mix a little other stuff into this live stream tonight. Ford announced and the stocks fell on it, which personally I think is a good opportunity. But Ford stocks fell on this news, but I see the silver lining, and the news was that 40 to 45,000 vehicles, Gavin, are going to be sitting waiting on parts and pieces, mainly semiconductors or chips, to get sent. But they're expecting like 40 to 45,000 of those vehicles to be delivered and sold in the fourth quarter. So what do you think that's going to do to the numbers at the end of the fourth quarter? Right? You already have a vehicle built, right? The labor's there, the material's there, most of it. It's going to really make the balance sheet look really good at the end of the year. So I think if you look at long term, between you have a vehicle that is, like I said, most of it's there, it's built, it's sitting on, ready to be delivered, waiting on a small component. Well, that's going to really make the numbers, I think, look good at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to that. Mainly what I'm looking forward to is everyone, those 40 to 45,000 people that their Broncos sitting in that lot, actually taking delivery of it and start posting the heck out of the pictures, how they like it. Gavin's going to be leaving us here in a couple minutes because little man is tired.
And I have homework.
And you have homework. And we have a dog in the background. What's up with your puppy, man?
I do not know. She's just a little alligator.
All right.
Right now.
Do you want to see part of your video here real quick? I don't know if we can do this. Why don't you tell everyone while I hook this thing here up? Why don't you tell everyone about how cool was that experience? The lights, the music, the smoke, the DJ, and the Mustangs.
Yeah.
Did the Dark Horse throw you for a curve?
Yeah. It did.
Talk about it. I mean, what? I mean, you weren't expecting it. I want to know, man. Tell me all about it.
And are you going to show them that picture or no?
No, I'm going to try to pull something up here on the computer while.
So it was really cool. And one thing, from the plaza, if you went over to the dock where some boats were, there was a big metal fence, and you could cross the Michigan River. You could see Canada. It was what?
We were going to send Johnny a picture or something. Say, hey, Johnny, we can see your house from here, but I'm sure he's a little further than that.
It's what was it called? It's a
Windsor.
Yeah,
Windsor, Canada. Yeah.
We saw Windsor, Canada, big Canadian flag on the other side, and then all the smoke, and then the Dark Horse was really cool, and then all the music, because there was a lot of music, and then the intro videos to the cars were especially cool, especially for like the GT3 and the GT4 like race edition. Those ones were really cool.
Yeah, so they're actually going to be doing some, racing all over the world with it, and they did announce that they will be right Le Mans. Yeah.
Will they be doing it 24 hours?
Yeah. Hang on a minute. We're gonna play this thing here. Let's see if I can get this thing to work here. Check this out. All right, now I'm going to stop this here real quick. So in the Detroit Auto Show, there, like I said, there was some places Gavin couldn't go and some things he couldn't do, but I was able to get some footage here for a lot of different things. And Ford had probably one of the coolest setups there, where you could Lightnings were doing sort of these acceleration tests or almost burnouts. The Bronco was doing the agility test over the ramp, right? So let's watch this a little bit and see what you think here. So obviously,
here we have
that one stripped down.
Cyber orange Badlands with all the roof
let's get rid of the volume if we can. Let's see. Yeah, let's turn that off. So here you have the Cyber orange, of course, Badlands, the little Bronco Sport. They had it decked out. Now here I am drooling over a Ford GT. Look at the color on that car. What do you think?
Amazing.
It's amazing.
And a cool thing is, so they had a couple Porsches. They had a McLaren 720S there. They had a Ferrari Superfast, and it's called the Superfast. By the way, it sounds weird, but it is actually called the Ferrari Superfast.
Oh, by the way, Detroit River, not Michigan River. Detroit. What did you say? Or did you say Michigan? It's Detroit River. All right. So, in Cyber Orange, I know it goes away on the Bronco for 2023. I don't know if it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it does. I don't know if it goes away from Maverick or anything else, but yeah, Bronco.
Speaking of, at the soccer field today, I saw a Cyber Orange Maverick with Steelies.
Did you really?
It
cool.
was a XLT.
All right, here you go, right here. So, now this Heritage Bronco, I'm telling you, that race red with that white top and the white wheels on there, it really looks good. And look, I get it. I know those wheels are going to be maintenance to take care of, but they're so smooth. They're easy. They'll wipe right off. So I was kidding Becky. I was like, hey, somebody had your Bronco. Those Eruption Green Badlands. Yeah, but that's pretty cool there. I think you'll like this view here. They let whoever's driving let their foot off the brake going down the other side. And it was a little fun there. So, if you haven't been in a Bronco and you do this right here, you can really get the idea of, wow.
Yeah, you can see when they let off the brake.
Yeah, right here. They let off the brake and sort of like a roller coaster let go, isn't it?
Grinding the brakes.
There's the Lightning over there doing the little... Yeah. This was a busy part of the Detroit Auto Show here.
And when they were hanging down there, they were just
so this was out in the lobby where Gavin could go out in the he was trying to figure out. Now, first of all, this video that I'm showing right now, as soon as the live stream is over, this video goes live, so you can watch the entire thing and hear the audio and everything else. But it goes live right after our live stream is over for tonight. But let me tell you something. The kind of the weird cars like this right here. I mean, this really, I don't know what you want to call this. Sort of this.
It's kind of like the inside view.
Well, there was this idea about driving cars where you can see all the working parts too. So this was like sort of the cutaway type thing.
Too dangerous.
Well, I'm just telling you, man.
If a stick or rock flies in there,
let's talk about dangerous right here.
Snaps a belt or punctures something, oil starts leaking, it'll be
okay. For you EV fans, the Ford Lightning fans out there, they were doing this demonstration. So you could sit, it was a short line. You could sit in this F-150 Lightning and they would accelerate. Now around this is those concrete, barriers. I think they call them Jersey walls, but the concrete barriers all the way around. And they were doing this acceleration test so you could really get a feel for the torque, right, from the electric motor. So watch over here on the right-hand side. You can see them sitting there and nailed it. See the headlights come up. So, everything in video looks a little different, but this was really cool where you could actually see this thing take off. I don't know.
And even then,
pretty amazing.
turning at like probably 2 or 3 miles per hour, it was like because that concrete is. So
here we go. Now this is where I was starting to question my position in the show here right about now. But we're on the other side of this really big Now, this was another Bronco here. Now, this person did not let off the brake like the other. They kind of, I don't know if they had the descent control. Is that what you call it? Descent? I don't know. I don't use it enough. I just use the brake.
Like keeps your speed.
It's cruise control downhill, basically. And
it's off-roading cruise control.
Yeah, one touch. And they probably had the one touch on all the way down. But this was the black one that you saw, in the beginning of the video with the doors and the hood off. But getting back to this Heritage, I don't know what you really think about the Heritage, but if you look at the Heritage Bronco, the Bronco's already has a lot of retro to it. And then here they brought the retro badging back, which there's a few different Bronco related badging things out there that they've had to take off the market because, hey, Ford's doing them. This was one of them. You remember the original script that people were buying to put on there? That one was, and the horse. There was a version of the horse out there. And I have a video coming out on that, a prediction of why that is, just like this is on this Bronco. I have a total guess, and I could be wrong. I was wrong about a couple things on the S650 Mustang, but let's go right on through this, and we'll talk about that later. So the Robin's Egg blue Bronco Sport with the white roof and the steely simulated wheels. Now there's your favorite car again, Gavin. All right, here we go.
This is my favorite one. That was number
Personal hovercraft seem to be all the rave right now. Yeah. And there were, I think, multiple areas there with it, but this was really cool. The gentleman that's on the other side of this picture, I asked him for the keys for this, a little laughs, and no, but
no.
I could that's like a jet ski. So the seat, the handlebars makes it look like a jet ski, but think about that.
It has these 2 giant fans, and it has 4
right
of these little small ones. So it has like 2, and so it has like 6 fans.
All right, so no entry, Gavin. I told you, no entry. Don't go in there.
Well, I didn't go.
All right, so here we go. So we have a couple Mustang pictures here. Now, the Stampede was the event. Now, let's stop this right here. The Stampede was the event that Ford put on for the Mustangs from Tacoma, Washington to Detroit, and that kind of led up to the global launch of the Mustang, which was really a cool idea. And if I had a newer Mustang, I would have done that. So here you have, this was something this is the big screen in the background as the Ford engineering designing team were talking about this. This is the digital cluster that you can change the way it looks, right? You can do more of that race feel, the tax, the biggest instrument lit up in front of you, or you can do, multiple changes, a normal, I guess you want to call normal, but also this Fox body, which would be the instrument cluster you would have found in an 87 through 93 Mustang. Now, in that Mustang, the top speed was 140, and I think that the red line was 7,000. Of course, this is 8,160, and then there's the fuel over to the right, and I think there was temperature over to the far left. So there's a little difference, but when you look at this, you're reminded. I looked at one of these clusters for a very long time personally, and I wish I hadn't have sold it. Let's see here. All right, let's let this play out a minute. And I'll be back to the comments in just a second. So I can't see the comments where I'm at on the screen. But there's that thing right there. That's a camera on a cable going across. That's what brought you all the awesome shots during the live. Now, this is the Dark Horse. And there's Gavin behind it doing some close-up video for us. This Dark Horse, was it called Blue Ember Metallic?
I think
it is special to the Dark Horse, that color. This car is really, really cool. No, I'm sorry, that's the GT. That was the GT we were looking at.
Yeah, because it's in.
Yeah. No,
because I
no.
didn't see the badge.
I'm sorry. This is the GT right here. We see the brake calipers. Sorry about that. The brake calipers are the grabber blue. You can got those on the front and the back. Oh, what did I notice about that? Remember I told you I thought the other car was a decoy?
Yeah, but they said it wasn't.
Well, I don't care what they said. If you looked at the rear brakes on the Mustang riding around with all the camo and the leather bag, like baggage hanging off it, in the rear had very small brake rotors, and it also had a very small caliper on the rear side. So on the rear end side of the car, on that side of the caliper. Well, if you look at this has the big Brembo calipers on the front side of the rear wheel. And it does also have that small caliper on the back, and that's the caliper I think they're using for the e-drift, the electric drift brake. And Gavin, when this video is over, you're getting ready to roll out of here. So that's the GT. No, what is that?
That's Dark Horse.
Oh, that's Dark Horse. There you go. Now, the thing about the Dark Horse is, of course, all the Mustangs have this heavy crease that runs across the back. This is the tail lights, the 3-bar, the tri-bar lights there on the tail light. That reminds me of a new version of a 67 or 68. I put that in the video I did yesterday. You know, those were curved in, but this one here has got that seam through there. And I just think it was a modern way of bringing back that original design. Now, whether that was the intent or not, but that's how I perceive it. And that it's like the menacing looking badge right there.
It's soft on one side, but gritty on one side.
Isn't that crazy? And you wonder why? Just to give it that look, or what does it mean? And, if you look up the meaning Dark Horse, I don't know exactly word for word, but it would be if you were betting on horse racing, it would be that unknown, right? That horse from nowhere. You don't know anything about it, and suddenly they show up and kind of stomp everybody and they win. A lot of metallic in that blue ember metallic as well. All right, now we're back to a S550 style. This is a GT500 in eruption green.
It looks very short on camera here. It's
very
a
short.
lot longer. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just the optical illusion.
It's a lot longer.
Now, on the new Mustang, you're going to be able to pick, I think is it 3 or 4 different caliper colors? So it's black, red, blue. Was there a bronze? I thought there was a bronze. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. And I'm going to do a video on the brakes because, the S550 is just so much. But that's just a really cool. And look at that grill. Oh, by the way, a lot of people haven't noticed this. It looks like fangs hanging down in the front of this. Yeah. We're going to stop sharing that. We're going to be back here. Boom. And we're back. The magic. Sorry, I haven't been able to hit on the comments, but we're going to start on those right now. Gavin, would you like to say any parting words?
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I have to go do homework. I wish I could stay longer, but I have to do some stuff for school, and stay tuned for that video right after the stream, and see you next week in a future video.
All right, man. Give me a high five. All right, brother. Bye. See you. So Gavin's a total trooper, man. He's my travel buddy for sure. I'll try to catch up onto the comments here. Overlanding for fun. Did you smell that skunky smell in Detroit like we did on Woodward? No, actually I did not. We were, like I said, we weren't there that long, and we had a place to park, and then we were either in the Detroit Auto Show or we were at Hart Plaza. And I'll tell you, Hart Plaza was a little cool place there. They have this huge ornament, like decoration that shoots water out in the summer for everyone to kind of cool off a little bit. It's a really neat place down there. You have the GM in the one building, and you have a couple of hotels in there, and then it's just a really cool stretch there. Being that close to Canada was pretty wild as well. When you're in downtown Detroit on the interstate, there's the bridge to Canada. And if you make the wrong turn, guess what? There's no re-entry there. So I was always paranoid. I don't want to, might have to go, have to keep driving through there and let Johnny give us somewhere to live for a little while till we can get back to the States. Let's see. Pezhead said Huntington Place. Yeah, you're talking about the smell up there. So Brew John said, now this was, I think, maybe in response to John Hines' question, depends on what dealer is getting. Also should be a reservation holder. Yeah, that was the purpose, is to be able to take people that haven't, like the Everglades or the Heritage or the Heritage Limited, someone that's been waiting and waiting and waiting, and give them first shots at it. But I hear the Heritage and Heritage Limited just may go to a dealer, and it's up to the dealer who gets it. I don't really know how that's going to work. And I really haven't had a lot of conversation with my dealer. We used to talk quite a bit, and here lately, I'm not. I need to fire off some emails there and say, hey, what are we doing? Because I did send out an email saying that I wanted a S650 Mustang, but I didn't know which trim. After the global launch, I knew exactly what I wanted. I want a dark horse. So I did send an email out and tell them, if you have some kind of a list going, because the order banks aren't open, I want to be on that list. So let's hope, if they're watching right now, email me back. I haven't heard from you, so I'm getting nervous. Oh, Brew John said, my first was a hand raiser and didn't get his 22. So yeah, no news on the Bronco Raptors. It's like everything else. I really wish, and I know I'm kind of not, this is not a popular opinion on politics of industry right now, but I just really wish people would give a little more credit and a little more cushion. The supply chain issue is so screwed up. I can tell you, if you look under the real estate industry and say, okay, let's talk plumbing, electrical, HVAC. HVAC is getting ready to go through this chaotic efficiency change, and you don't have sell-through dates, which means January 1, you have to have all of the new stuff and you can't sell any of the old stuff. So guess what's going to happen between now and then? Like, I don't agree with that at all. But what's going to happen between now and then is existing components or equipment that meets standards are going to be running low before they can get the new stuff built and into the supply chain. So HVAC is nuts right now. Plumbing, there's certain toilets you can't get. I mean, it's a toilet, for Pete's sake. It's porcelain. They all look the same, and but you can't get them. And some you can. And then I mean, I was in a popular sort of a fast food place the other day, and they didn't have any carbonated drinks. Why? They were out of carbonation. Why? Because their supplier said there was a shortage. I'm like, really? You got to give manufacturers, and I don't care which one it is out of the many vehicle manufacturers, they're having one hell of a time acquiring all of the parts and the pieces to build these things. And so there's some changes that are having to be made. And there again, I'm not making any excuses for anything other than the reality is, if I can't go get a carbonated drink, why do I expect the automotive industry to be flawless? And that's just my humble 2 cents worth. I hope I don't make anybody mad. But I deal with the garbage every single day, and it's getting old. Now, some of it might be convenience. Some of it is, you drop the inventory of something, you raise the price of it. So there's some of that in there. But I mean, it's amazing. And then where we're at with interest rates right now, it's starting to change everything a little bit. So let's talk vehicles. Let's just stay there. Let's see. Iconic Bronco, got my Raptor assembly line picked today from Ford. Should be delivered any day now. And Iconic Bronco, I want to know, what is your opinion on that picture? Personally, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world to be able to see your vehicle. First time ever that I saw my vehicle in the plant. What's your opinion on that? Let's see. Bronco Dude, Everglades should be arriving tomorrow, according to Ford Chat. I checked out the 2023 Bronco build, dual tops option. Bronco Dude, let me know tomorrow. I don't know if you're on Instagram. I can't remember if we're on Instagram or not, but if you are, send me a picture of it if you get it. If you at least you get to go see it. I can't wait. to see it, and congratulations. Let's pop that up there. You know, anytime someone gets a Bronco, I don't know if I haven't had Terrence in our chat in a long time, but if there's anybody on the planet that deserves his Bronco, it's Terrence. You've seen his comments in here before, and he's over on other streams as well. But he definitely needs it. Oh, let's see. That's the new. Uh-oh, I'm missing something here. Oh, let's see. What do we got? Brujon. System finally tonight. Okay. I guess that's the order banks. Order banks going on there. Brujon was saying, I'm in Northern Virginia. All convoyed Ford does use third-party drivers, which sucks. Yeah, it can. And, you know, from what I found down here where we are, when Broncos or any vehicle comes off the train in Crewe, Virginia, there's a company that has the contract, and there's only a few trucks that they have. So, you know, they're running daily. I think one day when we head to Roanoke, we're going to drive by there and kind of do a video of the place and see what's sitting on the lot. But you know, it's pretty cool to see them out there. But you know, when you're limited to just a few trucks and a few drivers to get them to the dealer, it kind of. However, if the lot is not stacked up with vehicles, right? If there's only just a few there, then you know they're doing their job, right? They're getting them delivered as soon as they're shown. And now, if the lot had 100 vehicles in it, then that's when it might be an issue. But from what I know, is they do a pretty good job. I know that the our two Broncos came in no damage at all, no issues at all. I don't think I'm trying to think that we have anything. You know, we had the one top clicking on the green one. We had the front diff seal that you know the Dana, I guess, differential there. That's it. I mean, we're happy with them unless I'm forgetting something. But sometimes they can leave a factory in great condition and get dented up in transit. You've seen a lot of those pictures there. I haven't had any of that. So whoever the company is that we have seemed to do a good job. Based on my dealer, they're pretty happy with them. Oh, let's see. Tim with Overlanding for Fun. There's only a few things I know about Windsor, and I don't think Gavin's old enough. Uh-oh, what is this? Hey, they're hiring drivers if you need a job. You know what? I might take that one might be cool. I could take a vacation from work and that might be a fun. I wonder if I could video that. Dr. Detroit had mentioned that. Hey, they're looking for drivers, so. Yeah. Sorry, I'm diving into the chat a little bit. It looks like a little chatting about the industry right now. Yeah, seriously, give everyone some credit, I guess. Now it's easy for me to say I have my Bronco, right? That's real easy, but there's a lot of things that we're waiting on for other stuff that we don't have. And it's not vehicle related, but it's it's pretty sad when you have money in escrow and that money in escrow is 10 times what the cost of what you're waiting on to get in so you can finish a project, right? So you think about a manufacturer has 45 vehicles sitting on a lot that's finished. That tweaks things a little bit. All right, let's see. TJ Miller, we drove the wife's Bronco Sport here to Ocean City and came out to an Outer Banks 4-door park. Okay, good deal. So you had a full-size Outer Banks there. And the Bronco Sports are a lot smaller. So you were mentioning it looked like a toy next to that Outer Banks. Totally different vehicle, different buyer, different needs, different ability. So, I know some people get a little worked about the same name on it. But it's truly, if I were sitting in a boardroom and someone was trying to convince me that I needed to green light a model and said that I'm going to build a certain size vehicle and it should sell and it's going to go to this type of buyer, meaning people that want to go wheeling, off-roading, and needs a little bit more physical room, but also you want that retro original Bronco. I want to make sure that that project is going to be successful. So then if you put in the Bronco Sport with it, that is then going to attract another segment, right, of the buying of the consumer. They're an entirely different segment, but you can put it within that one project. Man, that really helps to close the deal. Now, I don't know if that's how it works in the automotive industry or not, but I can see how the Bronco Sport was an integral part of Bronco coming back. Because when you look at investors, you can't talk about history. You can't talk about two-door looks better than a four-door. None of that matters. Are the vehicles going to be sold, right? How much money is going to be made on the deal? Or is everyone, is the buying public going to be satisfied, right? And I think when you offer the three different versions, it is. And I know it's an age-old conversation about the Sport and it's really mid-size, but when you say full size and you get, the comments get fired up, it's not full size. I get it. But between the two, the larger, that's the business owner coming out in me. Now, sorry, I'm not trying to be, but that's just how I see things. Now, I understand when you're a purist, that is what it is. So let's see here. Bronco 70. Anyone else see oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Anyone else see the fender flare upgrade option for the Heritage Limited on the build and price? Bronco 78, I have not been on that. I have been way too busy, but I do plan on doing that tomorrow. I actually I want to go through that and see. There's a gazillion videos already on the build and price, but I want to see, is there anything in there that's not really being talked about? Then maybe I'll shoot a video on that as well. Let's see. Bronco 78 says they are steel. Oh, let me pull this up here so you can see it. They are steel black powder coated. Wow. Need to check that out. Iconic Bronco. I'm in a Lightning right now as a dealer loaner. Acceleration is nuts. That's what I hear. And that's one of the biggest things at the Detroit Auto Show. I'm catching up with the comments, a little behind. But in that video I showed, that was amazing. And the video really dampens it down a little bit. When you're there, you could get a gist of it. Oh, let's see. Dr. Detroit said, I think he was talking about the fender flares of Bronco 78. Are they round or squares? I would think, well, let's see, the Heritage. So the Everglades are the squared off. Aren't they squared off on the, oh man, I got too many things to remember. Bronco 78, more of an aftermarket look. I'm not a fan of them. Bronco 78, I'm going to have to check that out and see. I'm not familiar with what you're talking about there, but I definitely am going to catch up to speed on that after I post this video tonight. And I think I'll start researching tonight, but mainly tomorrow because I have an early day tomorrow. Yeah. Dr. Detroit said that dash was awesome on the Mustang. Yeah, it really was. And I like how and this is where we're going with tech. When you switch gears, let's talk about Mustang for a minute. So you have the center stack, which is the right-hand side of the screen. You have the digital cluster, which is, behind the steering wheel. Between the two, they work hand in hand. Now, first of all, it's a full piece of glass that goes all the way across there. There is a place that separates the center stack from the cluster that's not illuminated, but there's not a physical seam there. So there's not that place that, catch dirt and kind of look odd. They did use a big piece of glass across the front. It's really cool. I like the fact that you can totally select exhaust, suspension, performance. cluster gauges what's in front of you. So, if you're at the racetrack, mainly the tack in front of you. Of course, speed's important, but you really want to see the tack in front of you. You can configure the gauges. So what is more important to you is displayed on the center stack. You have the line lock. You have the drift brake. Now people say, well, it's an emergency brake, and it's a little bit different. You can select on the center stack for the drifting option. And when you use that lever, it works like a hydraulic. Well, it is a hydraulic because it's a caliper. It's a hydraulic drift brake, but in this case, they call it electric. So it's an electric handle that controls hydraulics. So when you look at the new Mustang, we were there front and center with the S650, or supposedly an S650 that was totally wrapped up in the camos. I did a video, and I'm going to take a segment out of that. The rear calipers were really small on that car, or the rear rotors were really small diameter, small pad area. And then they had a caliper on the backside that was just tiny. And to me, it didn't look that like aggressive, but that was supposedly a GT, and it was a cactus. Well, not cactus, a carbonized gray. So we, when they launched, after we could walk down and look at the Mustangs, the S650 after the launch there, you could see that it had the huge Brembo caliper on the rear rotor on the front side, and it had that really small caliper on the back. And I think probably the situation there was, if in the spy photos, if you would have seen that, someone would have figured out what's that second caliper for. So Dark Horse wasn't known to, there weren't the spy photos on that, and there wasn't the rumbling online, and that drift brake wasn't on there. So Ford did a really good job keeping that quiet. Let's see. Yeah. The Dark Horse by itself, it's sort of, from what Ed said there with the design, the engineering, the head engineer on the Ed Krantz, that it's sort of been bouncing around for a while, that name there. It's pretty cool. It came out of nowhere. I was looking for a Mach 1, a Bullet, a GT 500, which I thought maybe a GT 500 might be for the 60th anniversary, so 2025. I really don't know what's going on with that, but we'll see. But the Dark Horse right now, I think they have enough to launch this car and be successful with it. You have the EcoBoost 2.3. You have a different nose on that car, so it's really going to stand out different from the GT, as well as the Dark Horse. The Dark Horse, totally different. The Gen 4 Coyote, which we're going to do a video on that. Ford is using the rods similar in design and style to the 5.2 Predator in that car, and I have a theory on why they're doing it, and I'm not going to spill the beans. That's going to be in that video. Let's see. Yeah, Iconic Bronco. Can you pick the caliper color on the Dark Horse? Dr. Detroit said, yeah, like 3 colors. Yeah, there's the grabber blue, there's red, there's black. They do have a bronze option, but that just may be on the wheels and some badging and things like that. It may not be the calipers, but that is going to be one of the videos, because wheels and calipers, you would think never do you do this video on caliper colors. But between the calipers, the seat belts, and the wheels, Ford has given a lot of customization just on that, right? Seat belts, wheels, calipers. It's going to be pretty cool. So we're going to do a build and price as soon as everything comes available, try to help people decide. And, how would I pair things up? What color? I think somebody said, Dr. Detroit said, unexpected. I think everything about the Dark Horse was unexpected. I mean, we had no idea. And I was really hunting for some, last minute leaks. And I think somebody leaked the photos the day of, but you didn't see the Dark Horse. I did talk to someone that actually they were there. They had a preview of the cars the night before, and they didn't see the Dark Horse. So, let's see. And Dr. Detroit, I'll tell him you said that. Get the homework done. Hurry up. Yeah, he has on Wednesday nights, he has soccer and then homework. and then a little bit of the stream. That's why I can't be here that long. But yeah, he's a trooper. He gets it done. Hey, Nick, what's going on? Nick, next week I am going to, if it's all right with you, I'm going to show a picture of your Bronco. You sent it again today, and I want to do some early Bronco stuff. Next week we have we're working on a guest that's going to be, I think we're going to be talking Bronco in general, and I think you're going to like our guest for next week, somebody you probably know or know of. Let's see. Yep. And look, I'm catching these comments, and I appreciate everyone joining me tonight, by the way. I'm catching up to the comments pretty quick. TJ Miller said every restaurant is out of snow crab legs here in Ocean City. Yeah, people are out of everything. I'm waiting for run out of water. Don't say that too loud. May happen. Mobile Motto, what's going on? Yeah, running out of crab legs is partly foul. I hear you. Let's see. This is I guess we call this extreme crab talk Wednesday night now. Yeah. Dark Horse is a ringer. So the Dark Horse Mustang, like I said, it is just cool. The nothing against the EcoBoost and the GT. I remember when the GT was it, and then the other trims came about. I think the GT is going to be a really solid vehicle. If you look at all the manufacturers that are going to EV or doing away with the V8 or putting in speakers that make it sound like a V8 and all that other stuff, Ford should do very, very well. By the way, at the reveal, I wanted to set the stage earlier, and Gavin and I started talking about a whole bunch of things, but Steve Saleen was in a crowd with us, and there was several other people. We'll go through all the name dropping one day, but it was really cool to meet some of these people that you've seen on YouTube, seen on videos, you've seen on for most of your adult life. You've seen some people there. It was just a really cool opportunity. But one of the things I want to tell you, when the Mustang was being launched, and they brought the EcoBoost out, they brought the GT and the GT convertible out, and the applause was there, the cheers was there, people liked it. Those are good. I was listening to people around me. A lot of the audio I cut out on my videos, but you could hear all this chatter, and I go back and I try to pick up different conversations, and everyone liked that was around us. They liked the Mustang. It was cool. But when the Dark Horse video started, this is another one of those. Remember the launch video for the Bronco, how it really, the creators of that took people from where they were in life to where they thought they wanted to be, right? So whatever you were doing, you could see yourself out in the wild. You could see yourself out fishing, camping, wheeling, going down the beach, whatever. The Dark Horse, the music, the lights, the timing, the graphics, the horse, that kind of gothic looking horse running in there. I mean, the emotions, like Ford's in tune with this, and whoever their creative department, they're in tune with selling, right? I mean, all of the ingredients were there, but dang, when they cranked the car up, there's sort of I won't say it's a tunnel, but the way that place is set up, down in the very bottom where you saw the cars were under well, I guess it's kind of a tunnel, right? They were in this tunnel. You could hear that car when it cranked up. And, flat plane engines really have their sound when you're accelerating. Idle, it just sounded solid. And when that car drove out, it was a combination of hearing the actual car, seeing the graphics, the music, the smoke, the whole 9 yards. Ford knows how to launch a freaking vehicle. I'll tell you that right now. But when that car came out, the crowd they were loud. There was a lot of, wow, what is that? Everybody kind of thought they knew, based on the spy photos earlier in the day, they thought they knew everything that was there. And then there was Dark Horse. Like, I've been a Mustang fan. I've had a Mustang continuous since 1986. One or two or more. I've had a Mustang since 1986. I'm like the Mustang thing. I'm telling you right now, wow. This was, Shelby, Mach 1, Bullet, GT, recent years, EcoBoost. What's Dark Horse? And so I really think it was time that when you look at that hard, chiseled, streamlined look, they needed to bring that car up to the competitive. The rear shoulders on the car, they are big, but they're big for a reason. The brow of the hood, how it over that front headlights, the tri-bar headlights, gives it that, I'm going to say angry, but it gives it that look. I mean, it really does. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting text here in the middle of my live stream. Let's get back to the comments here. I'm going to quit talking so much. Bronco dude. Also, I'm in Windsor. Love that Detroit skyline. For Johnny, he's about 8 hours east of here. Yeah, Bronco dude. I would I'd have to drive a long way to catch up with him over there. Bronco 78, they had the same dispute when Ford released the Bronco 2. All the full-size Bronco guys refused to call it a Bronco. Put that comment up there. Yeah, I mean, I think this is an age-old battle. I don't get hung up on stuff like that. I think I have a whole lot more to worry about, I guess, in general. But, whatever. I'm gone in 60. What is up, everyone? He said, what's up, everyone? What's up? I'm gone in 60. Let us see what's going on. I haven't seen many comments from Mobile here lately. Mobile, if you're still in, I want to try to catch up with these comments, and hopefully we'll be caught up here in a minute. You can get the heated steering wheel in the Badlands if you order Lux. I guess y'all have a conversation going there. Yes, the heated steering wheel is pretty awesome, and the roast warmers, the seat heaters they're right on time as well. Alrighty, let's see here. What are we talking about tonight in the comments? See, I don't have a producer to pre-read these for me, so I don't really know. So one thing that I really like is the Everglades. Think about something. If you ordered a desert sand Everglades Bronco, you're going to have a very rare vehicle. So apparently not a lot of Everglades were ordered, and that color was a one and done. So you're going to have yeah. Oh, Mobile Motto here. Let's read this here. Steve Saleen sold the car business in the early 2000s. Well, let me tell you, twice this year, he has been at the Mustang events. He is very active, at least being there, and it was really cool to see him. I don't know what he's doing hanging out there, but he's been there twice this year. Here, Andy Ackerman. Thank you, Andy, for that super sticker. I greatly appreciate it. I told you I'm catching up to these comments. Andy, I really appreciate you, and it's good to chat with you on here. I haven't chatted with you in quite a while. And we actually have, and I'm trying to do something really cool. We have a members section starting up. I've actually started setting it up now. I think we're going to offer some really cool stuff on there. And so I look forward to hopefully having some people join us and, some like general get to know my family type stuff outside of this YouTube, but they're an integral part of this. And, we did that before when they did this crazy TV show thing back here behind me. And it was fun. It was fun. Let's see. There is a Dark Horse winery with a similar logo. So I actually saw that yesterday, Mobile. I was in a grocery store and I took a picture of it. I don't know if you're supposed to show this stuff on here. Who knows? But I took a picture of it yesterday. Maybe I'll do a video on that or something. It was very similar. However, apparently, there is a trademark on it already, so they're good to go. Let's see. Fun fact on a clear coating floors. Oh, wait a minute. Andy said, fun fact. Let's put this up here. I was on a clear coat flooring crew at Saleen's in the early 2000s. Well, that's pretty daggone cool. Yeah, if Steve's out of the business, he's hanging out at the Bronco or the Mustang events quite a bit. Oh, let's see. I'm going to 60. Steve. Oh, wait a minute. Here you go. Steve Saleen got kicked out of his own company by his shareholders, and it was a legal battle for years, and he won his company back. Good deal. Well, good for him. We're all caught up now. Yeah. So, when you go to some of these events, but here I really get and talk about the whole thing. So we land in Detroit, 10:30 in the morning. We get the rental car and we head down to Ford's garage. I had to do lunch there again. I don't know, Tim, and if you're here still or not, but you'll remember that place was pretty cool. So we went to Ford's garage for lunch. Then we headed down to downtown Detroit and we, got settled in down there, went to the Detroit Auto Show, got our credentials, checked out some stuff, then went to Hart Plaza, checked out what was happening. There was so much energy down there. A couple of the videos that I have here shows the part of the Stampede coming in, and they couldn't bring all the Mustangs in. So apparently all the Mustangs, or they were supposed to stage at Ford headquarters, and then they brought them sort of over, in a controllable, I guess, herd over to the Hart Plaza there. But seeing those cars roll in, the different, you had a few older ones, you had a lot of was it 197 and current? You had everything from 06s to 2022s there. Then there was a couple of 69s that were really, really cool resto mods. I mean, they looked sharp. There was a 65 fastback, and the list goes on. But just seeing that blend of cars come in, it was really a cool thing. So at the event, the one thing that I was really trying to pay attention to is what was the feel of the crowd, right? So Ford's launching this new Mustang. We just went through it with the Bronco. We weren't there in person, but online you could see all the energy behind it. There are a lot of people in some of the car groups out there that are saying, the Mustang is really going to take a huge market share. They've made the interior just a little close enough to what everyone wants. It doesn't have everything. Some people don't like the way it looks like an iPad stuck to the dash. I think it's pretty cool. I really like how they've turned the dash in the center to give it a cockpit feel for the driver. So when you're in the driver's seat, not only do you have the flat bottom steering wheel, but now you have this cluster and center stack and the radio controls kind of looking at you. So you don't feel like everything's flat and you're touching something. It's pointing to you, the driver. So the aggressive stance, the chiseled look, the low belt line down the side. One of the cool factors is that if you think about the Bronco Raptor, they talked about if you wear a helmet when you're off-road. If you're in a Bronco Raptor and you're doing, say, Johnson Valley or somewhere out in Moab, you can wear a helmet and you have room over your head. Well, the new Mustang, the S650 2024 Mustang, if you look right, there's a nice arch over the driver passenger side. You can get in and get out, the average person, with a helmet. So, track day was figured into the design of the car. I mean, that's pretty cool. So let's see. Any predictions on what the final 22 Bronco total sales numbers will be? Mobile said under 120,000. What is year to date? I don't know what year to date is. I haven't checked it. I did check it last month, but I can't remember. It's going to depend. If Ford, in fact, gets everything they need to get those 40 to 45,000 vehicles out in fourth quarter, that number is going to go up pretty sharply. And Bronco 78, yeah, there was 10 to 15,000 per month, I think probably is average. There was 1 month that was a little bit lower. I think there was a plant shutdown for a couple weeks, but then it picked back up right after that. So yeah, average would be key. Yeah. Helmet bubbles, mobile motto. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure other brands do have it, but it was cool that you have the sports car with line lock, with drift mode, with the dark horse. They're saying it targeting 500 horsepower. I think that engine's probably going to be 510, 515 when they're all said and done with all their testing and everything. But it's really cool that you have a car with all of that. How easy would it be to say, oops, we forgot you had to have a helmet? That car, though, comes with it. And pound for pound, you can make a better race car out of a Mustang historically than any other vehicle out there. And I know I'm going to catch some crap about that one, but I'm telling you, the Mustang is the most versatile street slash race car that you can get for the money. Now, years ago, it used to be GM. GM had that, the Camaro, a couple little things you could do to it and make it, Chevelles and Camaros and things like that. In modern day, it's the Mustang. That's just my humble opinion. Dwayne, I asked you a trans question okay, let me see if I can get back. Oh, here we go. The Dark Horse gets the Tremec manual, but the Chi-Chi still gets the MT82. Do you think they brace the shifter and trans so it won't have the high RPM lockout issues? So apparently, I'm going in 60. Apparently, there was some modifications made to prevent a lot of the standing issues that were there with that transmission. So and I'm not an expert on that at all because I haven't had that car with that transmission, but from what I'm reading, yes, they've made some improvements so that people that, if you get a GT and you want a manual, you can feel rest assured that they've made huge improvements. Now, is all the problems solved? I guess you'll have to wait and, find that out. But apparently they knew of the issue and addressed the issue and other issues as well. So, we'll see. But yeah, thanks for asking the question. I didn't see that earlier. I know that if you think about it, the dual clutch Shelby GT500 transmission is really cool. It's fun. Paddle shifters, have fun with it. You think Dark Horse though? What would you do? If you bought a Dark Horse Mustang, how many would go with an 10-speed automatic, and how many would do the 6-speed, being that's the Tremec? It's a good question, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I had a 5-speed Fox body for years, and there was something about when you're shifting the gears. I will tell you that there's better transmissions for total performance at a drag track, especially with a high horsepower car, versus, regular manual with a clutch. I mean, there's manual shifting. So I have an automatic in the black car, the 66, that's a manual valve body. So I get to determine its shift points, but I also don't have that clutch to contend with as I'm trying to come out of the hole shot The one thing I'll tell you though, driving on the road, most of the time, the manual transmission is it's what I want. So I'm Dark Horse. Manual is probably going to be my order because I just want that feel. The manual's still here. Ford went through a lot. Hashtag save the manual is what Ed said. But it's true. You want to be able to feel that car. And the best way to feel that car is in the seat and grabbing the steering wheel and the stick shift, and the shifter in that car is very, very short. So I'd imagine the height of the shifter short because it's very tiny, but I would imagine that the throw in between the gears were a lot shorter. I'm used to the 5.0, the 5-speed where there was a pretty good travel in there, but now you could hit the gears, I think, pretty quick. So I'm looking forward to it as well. But yeah, I'm going to 6. You said improved. Yeah, the transmission is definitely improved. Mustang. Yep. Bronco 78 said Mustang for me would be manual transmission all the way. Yeah. Like I said, my 66 is originally a 4-speed car. But I mean, it would be a smoke show the way that car's the suspension that's set up in there. If I had a 4-speed top loader in there, that's not original to the car, but it had a 302 with 351 Windsor heads and a 4-speed top loader. When I redid the car, it has a 347 with a C4 with a very built C4, by the way, with a manual valve body. So you sort of get you still have to shift it, right? But you don't have the clutch to deal with. The new Mustang, though, with the technology that they've got in the engine, the transmission, the clutch, and the suspension, yeah, 6-speed all the way. I think we have to build a bigger garage, folks. If Ford needs to quit building so many cool cars because you just want to keep adding, and look, other manufacturers out there are doing some cool stuff, but I think for the heart right now that a lot of people have off-roading, outdoors stuff, a performance car with a V8, an ICE power plant, Ford is set right now to do very well with market share. I think they call them conquest buyers. There's going to be people coming over from Dodge in droves to get this car. I really believe that. I don't want a speaker under the hood. I want an engine, and it's we'll see what the market looks like. But when the order banks open, I think you're going to see another Bronco situation to where the orders just stack up, and all the men and women at Flat Rocker, they're going to be hustling. They're going to be building them, which, by the way, there was a lot of people there from Ford in general, but from Flat Rock. And it was really cool to see the people there that build these cars. And, they're part of this event, the smoke, the lights, the music, the DJ was just doing a great job. But you think about that, they get to look forward to building one of the last muscle cars out there, right? I mean, look at other brands moving away. So if that's your thing, you're working in the right spot, because now you get to build that V8 muscle car that people are going to want to buy. I don't know. I just think it's great. Let's see. They need a Lincoln Mark 9. The people are running out of options. Yeah, look, this comment right here is to a manufacturer's it's worth a few $100 billion. So there was an article, and if I would have thought about it earlier, I would have attached it here so you could read the article. But Jim Farley was asked. He said, the idea, and obviously don't put words in his mouth, but the way I read the article was the idea that a company is going to flip a switch and go to EV right now is just not practical. There's going to be the heavy towing vehicles that require the diesels or ICE, gas engines. But then you have a segment that there's going to be ICE engines out there for a very long time. I think trying to flip the switch too quick is going to really stress one issue that we all know is there, and that's infrastructure and raw materials. And so I think you're going to see some pullback from other manufacturers in the future. But I know Ford right now seems to be balanced. So if you want the EV, you have plenty of options. If you want the ICE, you still have plenty of options. So if they stay that course, market share, conquest buyers are going to probably exceed expectations. And when the V8 Bronco comes out, which is another subject, I don't know if we have enough time for that tonight, but when the V8 Bronco comes out, I think that is going to be another one of those wins that people just say like, oh my goodness, what are you doing to me? So, let's see. Switching at the expense of the Camaro and the Challenger Charger is alienating your core demo. Yeah. Well, the politics of automotive right now, see, one of the designers said Mustang is more than a demographic. It's a mindset. I think that's, if you think about that too, the Mustang, to me, I have this incredible Mustang story with the car behind me here, right? I wrote a whole book the book was between the Mustang and business and how they came together. I was like, what do you mean a Mustang? What's it got to do with what you do now? Trust me, drivengear.com, pick up a copy and it's all in there. The Mustang is truly a mindset, and it's truly something that it becomes personal. That's why the worst thing Ford could ever do is have like a few colors, right? You need to add the colors, add the options like they're doing with the seatbelt, the calipers, the wheels. Look at all the customization you can do the day you buy it, but then look at what you can do aftermarket and all the customization you can do there. So Mustangs are an extension of who you are. And same thing with Camaro and Challengers, Chargers, and all that good stuff. But I'm talking what I know, and I know Mustangs. So we have a car show coming up. We're waiting to see if we got accepted into it. It's an inside show, but you have to be accepted into the inside thing. But in that show, they have a ton of Mustangs in there. And, a lot of F550s last year. And all they did was change a few different things. Color parts on the engine, trim on the vehicle, whatever. And some people actually had, real performance parts put on there. But some people, that's all they did was change the appearance of it. So the aftermarket will go crazy with this car. And the options there from Ford will be crazy as well. Mobile, so I have a question for you, and I have a video coming out on this, and I'd love your comment on this or your opinion on this. So the 4th generation Coyote is getting the similar rods, forged rods, as in the 5.2 Predator. Why do you think they're doing that, being that they did not have a major issue with the rods in the Gen 3? I have a feeling I know why. I would just like what's the response from you? Why do you think they would go through that? If you think about the 5.2 Predator engine, I have no idea how the Romeo engine plant works other than the 5.2 Predator is built on a niche line. So it has a single engine builder with a support team. You can only build so many of those engines at a time. I don't know how many engine builders they have. So if you think about the Bronco, or excuse me, the F-150 Raptor R getting the 5.2 Predator, to me, looking back on it now, that was almost, okay, now we shouldn't expect a GT500 right now with that engine, because if they can only build so many, what are the chances that those engines are now being used for the F-150 Raptor R and not the GT500? What I don't know is what are the numbers between the 500s sold in the year and what are they projecting the V8 Raptor R? Oh, let's see. Mobile said, efficiency of volume, same rods are cheaper than 2 or 3 different. Okay. On a business side, I totally understand that. But my thing is, why haven't they been doing it for years? I think what is being set up for, and there again, the business side of things, like the first comment is efficiency of volume. Same rods are cheaper than 2 or 3 different ones. And I totally agree with that. Also totally agree with this. But here's what I think is happening. You have the 2 air boxes ducting 2 80mm throttle bodies. What are the chances that the options are being set for the future for that car to be twin turbo or supercharged aftermarket? Now I know they're locking down the computer in this, but what are the chances that there's going to be future models that they're setting up for twin turbo for this car? So that will the GT500 be twin turbo, even if Shelby builds it and not Ford? Or does the Dark Horse get another trim, more of a I mean, 500 horsepower is like stout, right? Especially with the suspension technology that's there. But, for example, my 66 is roughly 550 horsepower. A 500 horsepower Dark Horse would blow the doors off it, right? Because of every single thing else about the car. I think maybe that the Gen 4 Coyote is being set up to have a whole lot of other stuff done. Twin turbo, supercharger, whatever. And I think it'll be factory type stuff. I think if you're a manufacturer and you really want to control what's happening, you lock everything down and you license it or you sell the components yourself to really step up that horsepower. But and the pistons may be totally you know strong enough, right, between a regular Coyote but I don't know if the pistons, we just haven't heard, or the pistons changing, but I know the rods are changing. And the only reason I would think, and that is because they're going to add a tremendous amount of combustion chamber compression through turbochargers, superchargers, but speculation. I know that's why we're here each and every week. But we'll see, and I think the news is going to trickle out, by the way. I think there's going to be a lot of, that little bit here and there. So let's see. Yeah. So if Ford was going to EcoBoost to 5.0, let me put this comment up, they would have done it by now. They're supercharging it instead. Yeah. There's the math. See, if you think about induction, they've learned a tremendous amount on the 3.0, the modified 2.7, which is the 3.0 and the Bronco Raptor, which the video I'm going to do on that is about why is the 3.0 better than a Coyote in a off-road vehicle. And trust me, there are some real arguments in here, and I'm sure the comments will glow the day I post it. But because just like a lot of things, there's opinions, right? But there seems to be in the engine building community now more reasons why a smaller engine boosted is better than a larger naturally aspirated engine in certain environments. Well, if you're saying, induction is still a thing, right? Whether you're supercharging it or turbocharging it, you're introducing extra air into the engine. I think if you look at EcoBoost versus supercharging, why would they do it? I think parasitic loss is why. I think they want to use, and I know there's resistance with exhaust gases, but a supercharger being driven off the crank, right, is a direct one-for-one loss of parasitic. The parasitic loss, you're dragging, right, or not slowing, but you're adding drag to the crankshaft, just like weight. The purpose of a flat plane crank is to wind it up a lot higher, scavenge with the exhaust, has a little bit better balance to it, right? So now you stick a supercharger on it, which takes away a little bit. But what does the turbocharger do? Uses exhaust pressure, which still adds back pressure. I get it, but it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, right? So I don't have the ability to show in numbers on the screen, but I can tell you that why people turbocharge over supercharge is for that very reason. It's not free horsepower, but it's cheaper horsepower as far as drag on an engine. So I really don't know. I think they're really cooking something on that, and I guess we'll wait and we'll find out. But no, I get it. They've been doing superchargers for years, and yeah, and I do believe they have motors sitting somewhere right now ready to go that 700 700 horsepower range. I get it, but their thing is not like you and I building one in the garage and, well, if we blow one up, well, they're trying to keep a good track record with it. So I'm going to 67. I'm still waiting on the 5.0 hybrid all-wheel drive, pushed back a few years, but I'll wait. So, one thing that got lost in all of this cool stuff about the launch, did they change the chassis of this car, or is it still the S550 chassis? There was some talk about them going to the Explorer chassis, I forget the designation on it. It's like a C6 or CJ6 or CG6, something like that. But it was basically the Explorer chassis. The Mustang wheelbase is 107 inches. The Explorer's 119. So if they were going to use a chassis like that, they would have to heavily modify it. And I know there's more things than the wheelbase in a chassis, but it's a freshened version of the existing chassis, right? So that kind of throws the hybrid thing out because they don't have the distance, right? I mean, if you're doing an electric motor between the engine and transmission, like a traditional one, you don't have the length, or do you? but they also talked about the width of the vehicle with the all-wheel drive option. So you'd have the electric in the front. That would be the hybrid here, electric in the front and the ICE in the rear. So you could still do that, I guess, on the existing chassis. You have the room to do it, but you have lengthwise, but you have the width to do it. And that's the question. And I think that's why the rumors were out there. CD6 was the guess that they might go with when it was considered hybrid and all-wheel drive. But I did a video where I said, hey, if they're not doing, hybrid and all-wheel drive, they're going to probably not go through that expense and just modify what's there. And so if you're right on the modified 550, then there we go. So, I think that when you get through the silly season, which somebody said, what the heck is that? No, well, that's between the launch of the vehicle and the order banks opening, that a lot of that smoke obviously will clear the day you go order it because you'll know what you can order. But I think we're going to see a lot of that. It's probably be spaced out of what is going to be pulled back, if anything, but what is clear about what's currently there. So I think the Broncos taught everyone a big lesson, both the consumer and the manufacturer. So, all right, folks, we're going to wrap the stream up. We've been going 1 hour and 32 minutes. Any last questions, comments, hellos, or whatever? And if you're watching right now, please hit that thumbs up and the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed already, I greatly appreciate that. When you hit the thumbs up, that just says YouTube, hey, let's spread this thing around. They like it. Let's send it to more people. Also, if you haven't hit that bell icon, even if you've subscribed, check it out. Hit the bell icon, hit all notifications. We drop a video or go live, you will get notified of that. All right, let's pull this up here. Mobile said the Ford CD6 platform is automobile platform made by the Ford Motor Company since 2019. Vehicles 2020 and present: Ford Explorer 6th generation, Lincoln Aviator 2nd. Yeah, so and if you look at the wheelbase on that, it's 119 inches. If MS taught me anything, is that Ford. Oh, come on, man. I hear you. There's the wheelbase, right, is the one thing that I kept thinking, that decoy that they had running around. I'm convinced now that car had maybe some stuff in it, but there was I was able to see the cover on the S650 before the reveal. I was kind of looking at an area there, and it reminded me of the 0607 Mustang, where if you look at the grill on the front, it's kind of straight there. And I remember thinking, unless that camo is really doing a good job, which that's why you do it, right? So you can't tell the body lines. But if it's really doing that good of a job, it sure looks a little more sloped like the current 550 than what's under that cover. So I don't really know what all is under. I know the rear brakes were not what is on even the EcoBoost S650. So I thought that was very interesting. However, I get it. With everyone taking pictures and video of this car driving down the road, if you had those dual calipers on the back, someone would have knew, that there was some really, the Von Gittin get up in there, the electric drift brake, which, I mean, that's really cool. One thing we didn't mention was the remote rev. I watched there was another YouTuber talking about, well, how many people are going to rev it when the engine's cold? Hopefully there's a feature in there that allows the engine, cold start to warm up slightly before they start gassing it with the remote. So, hey, everyone, I definitely appreciate you watching each and every week. Thank you very much. I look forward to launching the members section here, which we're going to throw more out there than, I think than average. And it should be cool. Should be a lot of added value. And definitely as members come in, we'll want to get feedback on that. And look, if you want a good book to read, if you read, you want to, and something I don't push enough of, but I keep getting grilled that I need to, Driven, Finding Myself on the Road to Success was a book that I wrote that I felt like I didn't write it because I wanted to be a published author. I wrote it because there was some crap that I went through early on in life that I know will help other people. And it's kind of funny how a Mustang, a 66 Mustang, when I saw this car when I was 13, totally changed my life, and it changed my family's life. Right. So it's one of the things out there that if you want a good book to read and you want something to say, hey, you know, I'm not exactly where I'm going to be in life, and what's it going to take to get there? Maybe reading my story will kind of help you. Now, trust me, I'm not like everything's perfect. I'm on a beach somewhere and vacationing somewhere, but the path that I was on early on was not where I'm at. And this car right here and a solid family life is credited for that, right? Because this car kept me out of trouble. It kept me home with my dad, who passed away a few years after I got it. It kept me from hanging out with some people that ended up getting themselves in trouble because, hey, man, I had to get this old hot rod back on the road. But in that, and we're in times right now to where things are stressful, right? There was people yelling at each other in the grocery store today, and they're probably two decent people. They're on a scale of 1 to 10. They're like a 12 on the stress level. People are just so unhappy right now with a lot of stuff. And this goes beyond the crap of politics, the us against them, you know, the left and right, and all this I get so sick and tired of the division. But one of the things is that this book, I think, will help a lot of people say, okay, well, you know, here's someone that started cutting grass when he saw a car at 13 because he just knew he was going to get it, and started a paper route and, you know, cleaning gutters. And I was afraid of heights. Imagine that. And then if my mom's watching, I joke with her when she read the book. She's like, "You didn't tell me you were climbing on roofs." I'm like, "Well, you didn't ask." But I've learned, you know, how not to you know, to discuss things like that too much with your parents. But seriously, folks, just if you go to drivengear.com, check it out. Maybe it's for you. It's not a whole lot of money. It's $14.95 plus the shipping. It's something that I don't like promoting, right? It's like, okay, I'm in sales every day, but this is not what this channel is about. But it hit me today with the people stressed out and just yelling at each other. There's a lot of people that need a lot of new ideas right now, because what we've been doing over the last 10, 15, 20 years is not necessarily what we're going to have to do to succeed in the next 10 or 20 years. So anyway, if you want a good book to read, read it. There, I've said my piece. I'm out. I'll lose some people over that, I'm sure. But go from there. And hey, I'm gone in 60. Andy Ackerman, Mobile Motto, Dr. Detroit. I mean, the list goes on here. Let's see if we can hit a Bronco 78. Oh, let's see. Who else was joining us tonight? Andy. Thank you, Andy, for that super sticker, by the way. I greatly appreciate you. Mark Kelly. Run out of water. Don't go to California. Yeah, Mark, I didn't see that comment earlier. Hey, man, brother, on that one. TJ Miller, enjoy your stay up in Maryland there. Nick, I hope you have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Dirk Connor, thank you as always. Iconic Bronco. I hope I don't miss anyone. I'm trying to scroll through the comments here because I greatly. Steve P, he was in here tonight as well. Brew John, thank you for tuning in. Tim with Overlanding for Fun, thank you for tuning in as always. And folks, there was many, many more, but I can't go through them. But I really want to thank you, and I do appreciate you for tuning in. Anything else? Let me know if you're over on Instagram. You know, send me a message, things you want to talk about. Next week, we have a guest. At least right now, we're set up to have a guest for next week. I think you're going to like it. Definitely talk Broncos and also moving Broncos, meaning buying a Bronco, getting rid of a Bronco, buying another Bronco, and why, and how cool is the Bronco to be used as a daily driver for work and also for that weekend vehicle, and how many people use it, you know, for that back and forth to work and on the weekend off-roading. And do you worry about breaking it on the weekend and not being able to drive it on Monday and anything like that? So anyway, next week's going to be fun. All right, everyone, I'm out. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Have a good night. Be blessed. See ya. Bye.